I grew up in the 80s, and one of the things that were big in the 80s was G.I. Joe. And one of the sub-teams that I loved in G.I. Joe was Tiger Force. I was at the perfect age when Tiger Force launched. Today we're going to take a look at the Tiger Force Recondo. Let's head over to the review table and take a closer look at Recondo. All right, so we're going to take a little closer look at some of the stuff from this Tiger Force release for G.I. Joe, the Classified series. As you can see, I've got Recondo on the left, and I've got Duke and the Ram cycle from Tiger Force on the right. Plus, I've got the original version of Duke that came out for the Classified series, Tiger Force Duke, and Tiger Force Recondo from the A Real American Hero 3 3/4 line. Tiger Force Recondo from the original A Real American Hero 3 3/4 line was the pilot for the Tiger Fly, which was the repaint of the Dragonfly. This is my childhood copy that holds a fond place in my heart. It is a figure that features a broken thumb. That is from holding the broken grip on his rifle that came with the figure. I don't have his backpack handy. I'm pretty sure I have it somewhere, but it was a blue backpack with a top strap on it that you could use as a carry handle. That might also be what broke his thumb. I can't remember. But this is the original line. I've never redone the O-ring or anything, the original figure I had, so that's kind of cool that it's still intact. Just wanted to give you a close-up of him for comparison purpose as we look at the new figure, especially paying attention to the face sculpt, the helmet, the pants, all that. All right, now we have a closer look at the actual package for Recondo from the Tiger Force release. This is figure number 55 in the line. And here's the back card art with some jungle scenery, side card art, and you do have the windowed in the top packaging that allows for some light to pass through, which is a nice touch when displayed on the shelf. I am not an inbox collector, so let's go ahead and open up Recondo and check him out. All right, here we have the product tray for Recondo. Let's get the figure accessories out of here. Right out of the gate on my particular copy, I'm noticing something I didn't notice on the shelf, which is there is an excessive gap in the upper thigh cut on the right leg. That's interesting. Didn't notice that. That's not part of the costume design, and it's definitely not present on the left. The left is tight, and the right actually feels pretty good too. All right, let's check out the accessories. The accessories are molded in a softer plastic. The kukri style knife here, or whatever that is, actually was a little annoying to get out of the package because the plastic pinches it right here in the middle, and you have to pull it through. And obviously the blade half is wider, so probably gonna actually want to pull from this side. I made the mistake of pulling that way. Pull from the blade side to be my recommendation on that, but there's his kukri. Looks like his kukri slides into his sheath. There's a nice wide opening on the back for it. That's nice. Comes with a black plastic pistol. I'm going to say that looks a little bit like it's maybe a SIG pattern pistol. And then I noticed the rifle is clearly bent from that soft plastic. Looks like it'll bend back into place fairly easily without wanting to break or anything like that, but that is kind of annoying. His iconic hat. And his backpack, which from my memory is a little different than the original backpack that came with Tiger Force Recondo. My memory of that one is it's a blue plastic backpack with a handle up here instead of a bedroll. Still, not a bad backpack design. Let's get the hat on Recondo real fast. Also worth noting that Recondo is packing a full mullet there. Interesting. So here you have Recondo side by side with the 3 3/4 version. It's a very, very good likeness. I think the mullet might be a bit exaggerated from the original figure. Obviously, the brighter pants on the original, but even the striping matches up pretty well. You got the same chest rig on the holster. That's great. So good job matching there. A comparison of the original rifle to the new rifle, and I do like where they went. I mean, they incorporated that wrapping that is so prevalent on the original. And let's fully outfit Recondo. All right, so there we have Tiger Force Recondo out of the package, fully equipped with his equipment. Backpack fits on snugly. That's one thing I've been liking about most of the Classified series is that they're using all the accessories right out of the box for the most part. Got the Kukri style blade there in his drop hip holster. You've got the pistol inside his chest rig. Just looking fantastic with the rifle. The rifle does fit in his hand a little finicky, which is funny considering how the original figure went. Head sculpt is great. They went a little extra on the mustache, which isn't surprising considering how this character looks. It doesn't surprise me at all. They've kind of went a little bit extra on that. In the classic, I would say it's definitely more of a standard style mustache, but dang, they just did such a good job updating this figure. Let's take a look at some basic articulation here. Arms move all the way around. They bend about that much, although it does appear to be, yeah, there we go. They actually bend a little bit more than 90 degrees all the way into the chest. So that's nice. Wrist swivel right there, you can see that. Head with the backpack on isn't really a hindrance, but it only looks up about that much. Looks down that much. Ab crunch, this seems to be the biggest problem on most Joe figures. That's not too bad for a figure though, I feel like. Can't quite get into a full sitting position, but realistically, I don't know how many times you're gonna pose him that much more extreme. That's pretty good as well. So it's kind of a more traditional ab crunch there from a lot of the figures we see in the Classified, because he's not wearing too much of a crazy vest or anything like some of them are. As with almost all the G.I. Joe Classified figures, they do feature drop legs, so leg articulation, not a problem. You can get really crazy, lock the leg back in, kind of get more of a standard articulation. He kicks that high. Leg will go back that far. Pretty good. And then if you, that's with it drop down. If you push it back in, you can rotate out to the side like that. Oof, knee articulation is very stiff out of the box. Yeah, knee articulation is really tight. I actually might want to dip that in a hot water bath, but still works, you know, just enough to get it into some interesting poses. But to fully loosen that up, I might actually put that in a hot water bath later. So as I'm trying to get him into some poses and playing around with him, I am noticing one thing. That leg on the left leg there, it's a little, like, it's hard to explain, but it doesn't, like, it has some, like, play in there that I don't expect. That leg is a lot tighter. You know, I'm using the same amount of pressure to move those legs there. And then also when I look at it, I don't know how well this translates to camera, but it seems like he's a little pigeon-toed or something on that leg. Like there's an alignment issue that's a little strange. It's making it a little hard to do anything other than vanilla standing pose when I want to, you know, have him kind of like I have Duke back there, kind of more in a traditional firing pose. He's going to be standing pretty tall, which is okay. That's definitely fine. I'll have to play around with that. It's kind of ironic, though. I feel like... Oh, there we go. I think I can get him figured out, but it's kind of ironic that some of these Classified series figures, that when they're in a firing pose, they're actually less stable than you might expect, and that's something that they're going to want to be displayed as pretty often, I imagine. The other thing I'll note about this figure, and it's more forgivable in the Classified line going along with the firearm theme here, is that you do have just two gripping hands. So no pointing, no, you know, kind of neutral hand. So you end up with that kind of awkward, you know, holding the hand kind of like that pose, which is okay. I can't not Classified as far as like they're including a sidearm, a knife, a backpack, a rifle, the removable hat. You know, that's pretty good. So asking maybe for extra hands is a little too much. Something we don't see very often in the Classified series. I'm trying to think of when we have seen it. And then to show the back of the figure without the backpack a little bit, because I haven't done that yet. We'll compare that with the Real American Hero Recondo. Just fantastic. In every way, everything I'd hoped for in the figure. Maybe some small quality control issues on the bottom part of the figure, but can't wait to play around with this a little bit more and show you what it's like in some still photos. Now back to the other part of the review. Well, that is very pleasing to my nostalgia. I absolutely love taking a look at Tiger Force Recondo. One of the things that I loved about this figure is when I first got him, I got him with the Tiger Force version of the Dragonfly, which was creatively named the Tigerfly. And my dad loved helicopters. My dad often flew in them for work. He played helicopter simulation games on our Commodore 64. On top of that, my dad had a mustache. So even though I don't think I was fully aware of it at the age I was playing at, Recondo sort of represented my father to me. I'll admit, this version of Recondo looks less like my father than the original 3 3/4 inch toy did. However, it still holds a special place in my heart in a way that is really hard to quantify. I love everything about this figure, and I absolutely had to have him. When it comes to nostalgia, G.I. Joe Classified is finally firing on all cylinders. And this is something that was kind of sorely lacking when the line first launched. I'm not going to be a completionist when it comes to Tiger Force. I think I've probably picked up everything I care about so far. I am curious to see, if they do like Slaughter's Marauders. I'm curious to see what lineup they have for that, for example. But sub-themes are something that I definitely think are kind of an easy excuse for redeco, just like they were back in the 80s. But it's nice to play it kind of lean when it comes to picking up those figures, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching this video. I want to take a second to thank all my channel members their names are appearing on the screen right now. Thank you so much for all your support. And I'll be doing more G.I. Joe reviews as I pick up figures as time goes on. Let me know what you think about the process, and I'll try to improve those videos in the future. Thanks for watching, and I want to remind you, as always, hey, 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 hey. Read comics every day.